Hi Libras, this is your September and October horoscope with me, Lada from astrolada.com for the month of for September-October 2014. And what an interesting time for you Virgos, Libras. So many changes, so many eclipse time is coming in October. In September you're starting a very interesting process. So I will run you through the 2 months, and I've coupled them together because the 2 months are very much interconnected. A lot of the things that you start in September, they will continue in September, even through November. And the first very important thing that is happening for you, Libras, is that Mercury will be in your sign for almost 2.5 months, and this is very rare. Mercury usually whizzes through a sign within 15 or 20 days, and sometimes it stops there, comes back and continues forward, and it might be many years before Mercury again stays in such a long time in your sign. What does it mean? It means Mercury will be in your first house for 2.5 months, which means that from September onwards you're starting a very intense mercurial period. Mercury is the planet of business. People who are anyway in business, anyway in administrative jobs, communication jobs, media jobs, exchange of information, journalism, writing, speech, talking, teaching. A lot of careers are Mercury careers. I mean, all businesses are Mercury. All management careers are Mercury. Everywhere where you manage, when you use your left, the rational side of the mind, the calculating mind, the assessing mind, this is all Mercury businesses. So I think almost every career has a Mercury side to it. And when Mercury gets retrograde, stays in your sign for such a long time, all Libras, most Libras, will be called in the next 2.5 months to really put forward their best skills. They will be required by circumstances or because they push themselves to push their best communication skills, their best skills of Mercury rules all kind of skills basically. They even hand skills, their information, anything that you've learned, that you acquired through learning, through experience at work, through experience in communications with people. These are your skills, this is your information that you carry, this is all Mercury. So you'll be asked to put all those skills you'll be asked to put all those skills to use. And to basically, oftentimes when Mercury goes retrograde in someone's sign, I have seen that people basically are around that time they either start some businesses or their business becomes very busy. They're asked to work very hard, particularly businesses which require skills, managing skills, communication skills. Mercury is the planet of learning. So a lot of people start learning new things. They go on a course when Mercury, they start a brand new section of learning, maybe they start learning a new language, maybe they start learning some new, skill, who knows, pottery, who knows, management, consultants, any kind of new information. People tend to go to courses when Mercury is retrograde and it's so long in their sign. And people become more articulate. When they communicate, the mind becomes wittier, sharper, and that's why if you have any important business dealings, any negotiations, any contracts, any writing of reports, any presentations to do, September and October and part of November is an ideal time for this. Any new businesses that you're starting, you'll be very busy. You might be signing some documents to do with business, to do with studies, to do with travel as well. When Mercury is the planet of traveling, moving to and fro, you might be asked to do a lot of small journeys throughout the next 2.5 months. And by the end of November, this whole process will conclude. Around October, it might get a bit tough with anything of those, processes. It might get a bit tough because Mercury is moving retrograde, which means it requires way more of your attention, way more of your work, way more of your detailed application of skills. And things might slow down in October, but again, when Mercury starts moving forward, so by the end of November, by the middle of November, you'll be seeing the results of this hard work that you put. And again, I said people who are in media, in management, in writing, in communication, anyone who has to use the spoken word or the written word in their career, lawyers as well, almost every career has Mercury. And if you're a Libra, especially in the last Libras who are in the last, which degree is just a second, just a second, October, November. In the last 10 degrees, basically from 19 till 20 till 30, from 20 till 30 degrees, which means that the Libras that are born in the Libras which are born from around the 12th to around the 24th of October, for them this will be extremely intense period. For studying, for learning, for Mercury, for communications, for travel, for signing documents, for arranging some business, arranging some deeds. You know, those days, people born on those days, so people who are, and people might be calling you way more when Mercury is around, a lot more phone calls, a lot more people looking for your services, people, you know, trying to communicate, to do business with you. Or those of you who have their ascendant or their moon from around 19 to around 30 degrees, 19 to 30 degrees in Libra, they'll definitely feel this most intensely, what I was talking about. Okay, another important trend is that for you Libras, in October, in September, Venus will be in your 12th house, which means that in September might be a time when a person, when Venus is in the 12th house, we become more charitable and we give more to others. Especially we're called to help women around that time, we're called to help female friends, we're called to help give some emotional support to others. And it's very good if you do it because you're piling up karmic good points, you know. And also 12th house rules the good deeds we've done from the past. And when Venus transit there can be some, because of something that you did maybe 10 years ago, maybe you gave money to someone, maybe you helped someone, or maybe you stayed there with someone who needed your help. Now when Venus comes into your 12th house, and Venus comes into the 12th house once every year. So these are short periods for about a month for you. This is in September, Libras, when you can get some karmic payback for a good deed that you did. You know, maybe someone can help you as well, but also you keep doing those good deeds and you'll be called to keep doing them, but you'll see the results of, and you might not even be able to associate it. Why am I getting this kind of hidden support, this unexpected support out of someone? But it's because of something good you did before as well, that it comes back to you. So there might be for you in September unexpected emotional support, and also there might be also when Venus in the 12th house, people are more secretive about their affections and their feelings. So there might be like some hidden desires and affections that you're hiding, that you're not declaring directly on someone. You know, even sometimes they're like secret, not obsessions, but secret affairs that can happen behind the scenes. And the person really enjoys, when Venus is in the 12th house, the person gets the most joy from spending some private time on their own usually, or just with one loved person, like more intimate relationship, rather than taking your partner out to a party, everyone to see them. More like just together or in a hotel or somewhere in holiday vacation away where it's more intimate. And the person feels like where Venus is, this is where you get your biggest sense of joy, biggest sense of pleasure. And in the 12th house, it's basically 12th house, the house of relaxing, of taking it easy, just going, isolating yourself and staying with your thoughts, meditating, maybe watching a movie. 12th house is anything which we expect is escape reality through. And it can be through a good movie, through a good book, through spending time alone a little bit, through fantasizing a little bit. So if the going gets tough around September, you can always go into the sanctuary of your imagination, in the sanctuary of a private company of someone, and you can receive again, as I said, some private support, secret support that you don't say to others about. Okay, so then Venus goes into your sign in October. So when Venus comes into your sign once every year, again, it's not going to change your life, but it makes you more attractive. When Venus is in the first house, which means it's passing over your sun, over your ascendant, over your moon, the person becomes more, you know, magnetic to others, more affectionate, and because of this attracts also others more easily. And your best approach in October for getting what you want is to be diplomatic and to be charming. actually some of those hidden desires that you had during September can come to the surface in October, and you might be able to fulfill them, not just in your fantasy, or you might officially state about a relationship. You might become more clear about your feelings then. And Venus brings love into your life. I'm not saying you're going to meet the love of your life, all of you, but some of you might meet someone special. Some of you might go on a few more dates than normal. Some of you might find themselves looking better than other times and taking better care of their physical appearance. And even without trying to do it, somehow you start looking better, definitely. There is like a glow, like the Venus brings the gentleness, the glow into the cheeks, improves the look of the skin as well. And the person, there is like mellowness and softness coming through them. So no matter what stressful influences are happening in October for you, Venus being in your sign will smooth everything. Venus is the nurse, so it's like a buffer which helps any kind of impact of difficult influences, buffers it so you don't react so negatively, so you feel a bit more supported, a bit more in a joyful place within yourself, in a bit more content place. I love having Venus transit my sun sign, which is Aries, and also my ascendant sign for a few days. So you just feel in temple mode. You feel attractive, you attract people more easily, you get more compliments, you get more favors from people as well, and you start taking better care of your physical appearance, like you go to hair masks, massages, hand masks, whatever, face mask, you buy some beautiful makeup or clothes, and you just feel more sparkly overall. So this is how Venus helps you in October. Good for love, for relationships as well. So especially October, if you want to make a point, if you want to attract allies, to attract people on your side, use this energy in October. And Mercury is also in your first house, makes you more articulate, brings more brightness to your mind, makes you more skillful, more witty. So if you have any important presentations or business deals or somewhere where you want to present yourself well, do it. October is a fantastic month for that. Okay, and what else is happening? Oh, October, eclipse time. Yay, eclipse is happening in your opposite sign of relationships. When eclipses come, changes are happening. So remember how I told you that Venus will help you go through whatever shakeups there are? Well, there will be some shakeups for some Libras in September. Well, starting from September, you will feel it probably from September, because an eclipse is felt a month before and a month after. But the exact day of the eclipse is the 8th of October. But usually at least a week before that you start feeling very intensely. And it's happening in your relationship zone, Libras. So for a few Libras, there might be like a realization of some awareness coming to you regarding certain relationships. Because the lunar eclipse is very much connected to relationships. And the lunar eclipse, because the lunar eclipse happens when the moon is full and it's eclipsed by the earth. And it means that something comes to realization, to your awareness. Some very intense feelings can come to the surface for you starting from September, and especially the first 10-15 days of October, very intense. And you might come to certain realizations about your relationship, about people you relate with, how you want to, do you want to continue to do this or no? Or if you're stuck in some relationship, whether business or partnerships, which are unproductive for you, but you haven't had the strength to get out of them, the eclipse can really shake up things and take you out of those relationships, can really stir things up, or at least create some big, if a relationship has been going, if things have been festering in a relationship, unsaid words, unspoken things, or resentments that you've been hiding from each other, these eclipses can really stir things up, can bring those to the surface, so you can have the opportunity to heal this. You can bring it to your awareness, so you have the opportunity to heal this problem there. It doesn't mean that you separate with your partners, all of your Libras. No, it's just any problems, they come to the surface, and usually it hits you out of the blue sometimes, but it's been festering into the surface. And often the big changes in relationships that happen when they're in your 7th house during an eclipse, they're fated. They kind of, it's like God said, okay, I've had enough of you waiting around for you to do this, or I'm going to take over now. It's meant to be like this, you know. So even if you lose a relationship or eliminate some people from your life, or they eliminate you, don't feel sorry for this. This was God's finger trying to, you know, direct you in the right, trying to do the things which is best for you, you know. And especially who will feel this, big change happening. Those of you Libras which are born, because the eclipse is happening at 15 degrees, so those Libras which are born from around the 4th to around the 13th or 14th of October, 4th to around the 14th, but particularly those born around the 8th, 9th, 10th, you know, around those days, they really get properly the lunar eclipse. And the lunar eclipse gives you a chance to distance yourself and to get the fuller perspective of something, and to detach from something, to let it go, because it's come to its full fruition. The moon is full, and it's fulfilled its biggest potential. So from there on, you have to either change your attitude to this thing, whether it's your career, because particularly for those people that I mentioned, or those who have their ascendant or their moon in Libra, from around 10 to around 20 degrees in Libra, 10 to around 20, or those born from, I told you already, from around, you know, 5th to around the 13th, 14th of October, there's something that you need to let go of, finally. There's actually something which can come to fruition, to completion, something can be completed, so it can be also a very positive thing. Some project you've been working on, something you've been waiting for a long time, it can come to a fruition, it can complete, so you can let go of it, you know. And actually this can be like a build-up. You've been working very hard on something, and now it can be completed as well. And particularly people born around those days, they can have like a big change or some big opportunity in regards to career as well, some big change. But don't think that this change is something negative. This change is bringing an opportunity with itself. Whatever it comes, it's not a negative bad karma you're reaping for something, you know. It's the change that comes in regards to the role that you play, the path that you want to take in your life. This is all the sun. The role, how you play the role in your life, who you are, where you want to go in life. So you'll be a lot of Libras born around those time, or having ascendant on their moon from 10 to 20 degrees, will be asking themselves some big ass questions, you know, about their purpose, their meaning, where they're heading. Do they want to be in those relationships? Do they want to, you know, to be in this environment, in this career, whatever, you know. But eventually it's all for good. Just remember this. So some shake-ups there. And it's recommended that you might be having this moment of introspection and analyzing, but don't go and act immediately on those things. Wait at least a week after the eclipse is finished, so the energies is a bit more settled and the feelings are a bit more settled, so you don't do something rash which you later regret for. Like last year when I had the lunar eclipse on my sun, 2 days after the lunar eclipse, I was like, that's it, I'm going to Thailand, I'm leaving my fiancé. We just had a few arguments, a build-up of a few months, and I almost left him. I'm glad I didn't. I waited a week before I left for Thailand. Now I'm here with my husband in Thailand on my honeymoon. So sometimes people can do a bit more reckless things during an eclipse, so take your time. And there is another eclipse towards the end of October, which happens in the last degrees of Libra, which means that people who are born basically from around the 25th of October to around the from around the 19th to around the 24th of October. Particularly those born around the 22nd, 23rd, 24th of October, those who have their ascendant or their moon in Libra from around 25 to 30 degrees, they're going to have a sun eclipse. The sun eclipse brings new beginnings, and actually it can be very good for career again, for new opportunities in career. Shake-ups come, changes come, your role in life changes, the way you view yourself, the roles that the universe gives you or society gives you can change, your social status, a lot of things can change, but they bring with them new opportunities, intense new beginnings in your life. So be ready. So thank you so much, Libras, and I will see you in November.